everyone. Happy Monday. How's everyone doing today? Welcome in, welcome in. Please do jump in the comment section if you are already here and let me know if you can see in or hear, please. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. How are you out there in the wide artsy YouTube world? Good morning, Ruby. Hello. I'm just getting everything set up in the background as usual, and we will be getting started shortly. Great, great. I'm glad you can see and hear. Hello, good morning, Nicole. Welcome, welcome. Ooh, it's a little warm today. Uh, Definitely. How are we? How was the weekend for everyone? What did you work on? What did you play with? Did you play with a new art product? Did you create something new? I know we have members that are going to be in the live today that are part of Creation Station. So I know we've been pretty busy over the last week. So I'm just curious what's going on. I'm going to take a few minutes right before we truly get started just to say hello to everybody, talk with you guys, see what you've been doing. I'm really curious to know where you are, what you did artistically this weekend. Good morning, Marianne. How are you? How are you? Now, it had been it honestly was uh, my oh, what's the word I'm looking for? It had been, I was going to, should I say, kind of kick this live off differently this morning. And I was going to be doing a face to face. But I was working on a painting last night as I was laying across the bed and fell asleep and didn't get a chance to get up and go shave and cut my hair. When I opened my eyes, it was morning and it was very close to time to start this live. But I do want to, moving forward, in the next live or so, start doing some face to face conversating with you guys right before we jump into any type of project or artistic creational work. Of course, I have to find a program that I can really use. I've been looking up some different things on Google. I know StreamYard is pretty popular. There was another switcher program that I downloaded to my iPad Pro. I can't think of the name of it at this particular point, but and it's basically a free program, unlike a lot of the rest of them. But I played around with that program for a while, and I was having an issue getting all of the functions to it to work. Um, and at this particular point, I don't have a laptop or a desktop computer. All of my devices are all mobile, either phones, tablets of some type. So still got a little bit more work to do on trying to get some equipment inside the studio that's gonna just kind of help progress and push things along a little bit better. I would really love to start being able to do, um, side by side frames where you guys are able to we're able to look at each other and see each other and paint and create at the same time. I have all of the cameras needed for it. It's just a matter of finding the proper program. So we're gonna do some work on it and see what happens. Let's see what you guys talking about. Yes, Ruby, you've been junk journaling again. Listen, Ruby, I am so happy to hear that. My junk journaling bug has been reignited as well. Well, it never really died. I just stopped making as many videos on junk journaling as I have done in the past. And I'll be honest, I do notice that I sort of lost a small part of my audience once I stopped pushing out as many crafting videos because there was one point on this channel when you could get just as many crafting, just as many art creation videos across the board. And after doing some research and reading some YouTube key points on how to be a better creator, they kind of push you into sticking to maybe one thing, especially if it's something you want, if you want your channel to kind of grow. So I did kind of dial back on the crafting part of the channel, didn't completely cut it out, but dial back on it a little bit and then pushed forward more with the artistic part of things. With that said, I can go ahead and let you guys know that this Wednesday, our pre-recorded video release will be a crafting video. We are going to be making um, a watercolor or a water soluble sketchbook because you guys know that's my baby. Those are my babies, and I love doing it. We're actually working on a water soluble sketchbook over in Creation Station at the moment. So that kind of reignited the book a lot. So I'm going to do a sketchbook for this upcoming Wednesday's video pre-recorded release, and then I'm gonna do a junk journal in the background for myself. Or maybe what I'll do is I'll shoot the junk journal video and then put it up in Patreon for Creation Station members as a behind the scenes reel because it's been a minute since we had one of those videos come out. So that might be what's up, Tisa? Tisa in the house. Hello. Hello, Irma. Welcome in. Ooh, from Southern California. Hello. Welcome to the live, friend. Um, if you're new, Irma, this is how we roll. We chit chat for a little bit. I do an introduction, then we jump into everything that's going on with the live. But I love to keep up with my artsy friends, see what's been going on with you guys. What have you been painting? What have you been learning? What's new in your life? What's exciting? Hell, what's not exciting? Because we are a community here, so we're here to support. So, we just kind of chit chat, discuss things artistically, crafty, because this is a mixed media arts and crafts channel. Although I do concentrate mostly on art stuff, art products, art reviews, art tutorials, and creations. There are still crafting elements mixed in. So, kind of an all over channel here. I'm so glad you decided to join us. Welcome. All right, let's see. Tisa painted peonies and made a medieval junk travel journal diary. Now, Tisa, that sounds amazing. A medieval junk travel. So it's a junk journal and a sketchbook. Sound like an art book. Ooh, that love the way that sounds. Friend, send me some pictures. Let me see. DM me. Um, Marianne tried Phoenix watercolor boards. Now, I have heard really great things about the watercolor boards and their watercolor canvases. And you know me, I'm a Soho stretch watercolor hot press canvas guy. I really love those things, but I would really like to find a cold press alternative. And before Phoenix started doing it, of course, we had the aqua boards that were spread out across the artistic community, and they have not always been the best, if the truth be told. The only aqua board per se I have run across, and it's because of Tisa that I even know this brand exists and I like it, is the Crescent watercolor boards, and they're actually hot press boards as well. And it's funny though. So both of the watercolor canvas board types that I found myself liking have both been hot pressed. So I'm really interested in seeing if I can find a watercolor canvas that's cold pressed. So are those cold pressed? Do you know? Let me know. Because if so, I might order a few of those and give those a try because they would really be great for commissioned watercolor work, or when you're trying to do those standalone pieces that I may want to list on the site for sale. So absolutely, absolutely. Ooh, sounds exciting. Um, Nicole got Derwent pencils. Which ones did you get, Nicole? Christy found out there's a limit to number of people that can log in. Christy found out there's a limit to the number of people that can log in. Okay, Marianne, close that gap for me, sweetheart. Are we talking about like StreamYard or back when we were talking about the switcher programs? Da 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 da. Trying out a new watercolor paper today. Ooh, what is it? Because I tried the. So guys, if you know, like I said, we spend the first part of the live kind of chit chatting a little bit. You get to hear a lot of interesting things, I think. So you guys know, over in the creation station level of the Thrifty Apprentice Patreon community, we're working on, like I said earlier, we're working on a water soluble sketchbook. Quick synopsis: one of the YouTube Patreon members that is super frequent, a artsy friend, unfortunately had something happen to their sketchbook. So we're creating a sketchbook for that person over in the creation station so we can gift it off to her. And during that process, I tried for the first time. I've had it here in the studio, but I've never actually tried it that I can remember, not with a real painting. The very first thing I did on it was this, which was just kind of playing around, getting a feel for the paper. I think I used the Mission Gold, Magello Mission Gold paints here when I did this. But I wanted to use the paper again for like a full painting. And we're not done. I mean, I'll show you guys a kind of sneak peek. I don't think Marianne minds, but I'm just kind of showing you guys. So we use the sugar cane. I use it to really create an illustration. So we were working on we're working on finishing up this sketchbook, but we created the custom cover of it with a straightforward watercolor illustration, and it's done on this paper. And what I discovered about this paper is that I do like it. I like Hanamule, Hanamule, however you want to pronounce it. I know some people have different pronunciations for it. I do tend to like their brand of paper. What I'm starting to discover is that I don't like everything they produce. This paper, for all of the good qualities I discovered from the two paintings I've done on it, it does tend to buckle a little bit more than I like, but it also takes a lot of different watercolor techniques on it. So if you've never tried sugarcane paper, it may be something you want to give a try. Very, very interesting. It's 70% sugarcane fiber and 30% cotton rag fibers in order to make up the paper. It's both externally and externally sized. It's got really good texture to it. Um, and I didn't experience any sizing issues on the first couple of pages that I've painted on so far. This particular one is in block form, so it is bound on all four sides, which is really great because I don't have to take anything down. So, if you guys haven't tried it, I say it's worth a try. I might cut down a couple of pieces into like 5 by 7 sheets and make a couple of different stacks and maybe give them away or send them out so people can try some of them. I think that'll be a good way for people to, kind of play around with the paper if they've never tried it. Um, Logging in the StreamYard. Okay, Marianne, that's what I thought you meant. Thank you for that information. Thank you so much. Uh, Media in India, they're out of Hot Springs, Arkansas. Okay, gotcha. Logging into StreamYard. Some drawing pencils and some pro color. Oh, nice for the Durin. I've never tried Durin drawing pencils. I hear Lindsay talking about them all the time. Now, I love, of course, my Durin Inktense water soluble pencils. I love my Durin regular watercolor pencils, not their Inktense line. I have the Durin ChromaFlow colored pencil, which is actually a really nice budget alternative to some of their higher end pencils, but it's still really pigmented, semi soft, really good coverage, and they blend pretty well too. So I do like the ChromaFlow, but I really do want to try their drawing pencils. I've heard a lot about them. There's another set of drawing pencils I want to try as well. I can't recall what they are off the top of my head. Hello, View. Welcome, friend. Thank you so much for liking and sharing. Love it, love it, love it. I really appreciate it. Hello, Eleanor. Good morning. How are you? Love the Honda Mule brand. Yes, yes, yes. Me too. I've loved pretty much everything I've tried about them by them, with the exception of, because you guys know I like to show receipts. Now let me see if I can put my hands on it. I like all of the paper I've tried by them, with the exception of this one. This is a Honolulu tone gray sketchbook, I believe it is. Yeah, tone gray. The paper is like 90 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. It's size similarly on both sides. The texture is pretty much the same. It's almost smooth enough to remind you of a mixed media paper more so than like a watercolor paper. Now, I've done we played around in this sketchbook before. You guys have seen it. We've done like what were we doing in here? Inktober. I think this is when we cracked this open and we were doing different things for Inktober. It takes this particular paper takes pen and graphite and pen work or ink really, really well. I do like the paper for that, but I'm not the biggest fan of watercolor on the paper because I don't feel that it really holds its saturation enough. And I think that might be a problem for somebody who may be a really loose style painter, who may not paint in heavy layers and super saturated layers, who may like sort of atmospheric, airy, breezy, loose style florals and landscapes. I think this paper may give that person some issues because there's going to be quite a shift from wet to dry. Um, and it may cause you to layer more than you may have wanted to in that particular painting. It takes watercolor pencils super well. If I'm not mistaken, this was done with Derwent um, graphitint pencils and graphitint paint. Pretty sure it was. Or maybe, no, it was a mixture of Derwent Inktense pan paints and Derwent graphitint pencils. I think that's what it was. And some pen because it was sort of like an ink and wash. So again, it takes the ink product super well. Love that. There's something I was following by Lindsay and didn't finish. On the back of this page, I used this is watercolor brush pen, water soluble watercolor brush pen. I think it may have been colored, but I was just kind of playing around with like a glass pair, just testing the back side of the paper to see how it would be. It was okay. Like I said, not the this is the only paper I've run across by the company that I don't think it's a fail. I'm just not the biggest fan of. Here I used gouache, and this was a food paint challenge um, creation from over on Instagram. So it gouache shows up beautifully on it. It really does. Gouache, ink, colored pencils. Cause see, this is gouache as well. Gouache ink, it shows up really well. Um, this was, I don't know, a miss. This was a painting that I did where I was testing out what would happen if I toned the background of a paper that was already toned and then tried to pull my watercolor illustration out of that toneness. Um, and it turned out. It wasn't, it just turned out. It's an illustration in one of the videos on the channel. I don't proclaim that everything I do is a masterpiece by any means or any stretch of the imagination. But it was a really good learning experience on this paper. Here I was just kind of testing to see. This is a dye-based ink from the Zebra Click Art water soluble pens, markers, whatever you want to call them. They did okay on here. I think we did this in a live, maybe. What paint was this? Can't remember, but that's a watercolor. And you can definitely see the difference in the way it shifts with like using a watercolor versus using an ink versus using a gouache. So yeah, I think I caught a glimpse out the corner of my eye of Nicole saying in the chat that tone gray is meant for gouache. Okay, I could see that because the gouache stands up on it much better. Um, However, companies push tone gray and tone tan paper for watercolor as well, and I just think that's quite a shame because if it's made for gouache and gouache performs the best on it, I think that companies should probably be transparent about that because I know several companies that push their tone papers for watercolor creation. All right, let me jump back in the comment section and see what we got going. Not a fan of Inktense pencils. Wow, love all of their other pencils. Light fast pencils are lovely. Yes, yes. Oh, yes, they're light fast. I've tried one or two of them, like standing in the store. You know how you get an open stock pencils and you play around with them. They were really nice. I just don't have their light fast range of pencils money at the moment. That's a pretty good penny to pay. You guys know me when I buy stuff, especially for something like that. I like to kind of buy the whole collection. So I'm gonna be saving for a minute to afford those. Absolutely. Oh wow! So Ruby doesn't really like the Inktense pencils as well. Well, you know what? I can kind of see that Inktense pencils are a unique novelty beast. Um, they're more ink, well, they are ink dye based versus being pigment based. One. Two, they tend to have more of a permanent drying effect after the first layer is dissolved. So they're not going to be something that you can necessarily reactivate really well or kind of put something down on top to try to blend into the first layer. So I can see how that's a learning curve to get over. What I love about them is that they're super bright and super intense. I don't use them for everything. I tend to use intense products whenever I'm doing like something where I'm layering or I'm building, I'm creating something where I have to have a lot of water soluble layers, but I don't want any of the layers to lift or to move. I tend to use Intense that way. Okay, I promise guys, we're finna get into the meat of this video. I just really wanted to chit chat and catch up with you guys because it has been a week. So you know we have to see what's going on. And let me just show you what I meant. See, I like to use Intense products for something like this. This is me making my own pattern paper, right? And it's layers and layers of just different ink tints done different ways that I allow to dry. I think we may have done this. Did we do this together at some point? Don't know, can't remember. But I like to use ink tints products or stuff like that. So they tend to end up in a lot of my crafting projects. Um, Phoenix boards don't specify hot or cold press. However, I think it acts more hot press than cold. Fine texture, but you can't go crazy with water, and glazing can be tricky. Lifts easily. So yeah, definitely performs more like a hot press thing. Okay. That kind of sounds pretty much like that Soho urban artist canvas that you guys see me painting on regularly. Sounds pretty much just like it. I wonder if Phoenix makes it for Soho. Very possible because Phoenix is one of those companies that you can go to and have your private brand or white label through. So that's very possible. Tone can paper just works best for gouache. Yeah, I can believe in the code. Definitely. Proof is in the pudding. Definitely, because the gouache creations in that tone tan sketchbook look so much better than just watercolor on it. Although I think that if I'm saying tone tan, we're talking about tone gray. But between the two, I probably like tone tan more than I like tone gray anyway. Nicole, you get all your pencils on sale. I wish if I could find the complete range of Durant Lightfast pencils on sale at a decent price. It seems like it's a sale price. I'll get them in a heartbeat. I need to find. I need to really do some looking. Now the blocks I love. I just like Inktense products. I love the blocks. I've used them quite a bit. You guys know that. The blocks are a different beast, though. They are a bit textured. They have a little bit more texture to them when they dry down. Some of them have more of a chalky feel. You'll feel like it performs more like. In some cases, you may feel like it performs more like a chalk pastel that you've added water to kind of blend the layer so that you can add more to it, but they're just super, super intense, super, super saturated with color. Um, and they tend to kind of have a sort of permanent drying effect to them as well. Not as much as the Inktense pencils, but definitely. Now I have the full range of Inktense blocks, and I absolutely love them. You mentioning that reminds me, I need to pull them out. I need to pull them out. I haven't worked with them in a while. Tone papers for pastels work really well um, as well, Marianne. That I discovered just by watching Lindsay use all sorts of colors for base of my soft pastels. You may actually like the blocks. I know it's kind of mixed reviews. I run into people who love them. I run into people who absolutely hate them. So you might actually like them. All right, 25 minutes in. Let's go ahead and get this live kicked off. Okay, friends? All right. Good morning, my artsy friends. Happy Monday morning, and welcome to our regularly scheduled Monday morning live. My name is Ken Johnson. I am your thrifty apprentice, and I am super happy to have you here live with me today. There's nothing like sharing live artistic creation with artsy friends that are all, pulling, pushing, rooting, and raving for each other. So, kicking off today, let's talk about things that are going to be coming up on the channel. Now, this particular Wednesday, we will have our regularly pre-recorded release. This will be a crafting video, friends. I'm going to tell you now, it's been a minute since I released a crafting video. Now, all of my artsy, artistic, fine artist friends, don't shy away from it just because it is a crafting video, because the video itself is on creating a watercolor or a water soluble sketchbook. So, although you may not necessarily be a quote unquote crafter, if you are someone who loves sketchbooks and have ever wondered or wanted to try to create your own so that you can use it for your water soluble creations, then this is definitely a video you're going to want to try. As a matter of fact, if you check the DIY playlist here on the Thrifty Apprentice YouTube channel, you're going to find a plethora of crafting videos that will show you how to make many different types of watercolor sketchbooks out of many different types of materials that you can pick up from your local big box store or that you may actually already have laying around your home or your studio. So I definitely encourage you guys to go check it out, give it a shot, definitely. So that's going to be this Wednesday. Now, I am currently working on putting together the review video for the Karen Dosh Museum Aquarelle watercolor or water soluble pencils. Now, it's taking me a little bit longer to put that together than I thought. I do actually have one more field test that I need to complete for those pencils before the final review video is put together. But definitely keep your ears to the ground for that because it's coming soon. That brings me to the results of our product showdown. Now, if you caught not last Wednesday's video, maybe last Friday's video, one, two, no more than three videos back on the channel, we had a video come out where there was like a art product showdown where I went through all of the art products that I have here in the studio that still need to be opened, unboxed, swatched, field tested, and reviewed. And I gave you guys the opportunity to vote on that in the comment section so I would know what you really wanted to see coming up first and what order and sooner than later. Of course, we're going to get to it all, but I just kind of wanted to bring you guys in on that. So I've been keeping up with the results of the comments in the comment section of that video up to this point. And without surprise, I kind of figured this would be the case. There was two products that tied for first place. That is the Sheehan, Lord, the Shinhan Professional Korean Watercolors in the Tube, and the 225 counts to equal 50 eye crayon water soluble pastel sets. So I started working on the eye crayon video first for this reason. The Shinhan Professional watercolors are in tubes. As you guys know, I like to create from dried down paints. So I want to actually do an unboxing, swatching, and preliminary demo video first with those. Then we'll do a couple of field test videos in between, and then we'll get to a review. So we're definitely going to do quite a bit of testing on those paints before I drop a final opinion on them. Outside of those two, what you can look for coming up really soon is going to be the Superior Woodless Watercolor Pencils. They got quite a few votes. The Gouache Paint Sticks actually tied with votes for the um, Stabilo Woody 3-in-1 pencil, crayon, or whatever they call it. And then the rest of them, I was expecting the Mameri blue paints to actually be at the top, but that actually is not what won. Ironically enough, it tied with 3 votes only for with a lot of other products. So I'm just going to be playing any, mini, miny, mo when it comes to that. So basically, what I'm saying is what you can look forward to over the next couple of weeks are definitely going to be field testing and reviewing, well, an overview, not a review, an overview of the eye crayons, simply because I feel like I've already done an in-depth review of those under another brand, the Sunny water soluble pastels, which you can find where in the thrifty review playlist on the channel. Um, you will be seeing the Shinhan come up, and you'll be seeing the Superior Woodless watercolor pencils come up. I think I'm going to make an executive decision and go ahead and throw in. You're also going to be seeing the Mamiri blue paints come up because I am tired of being curious of how those paints perform. I really want to know. So those are the things you can look for coming up amongst all the other products that we talked about in that video. All right. Let's see. Was there anything else I wanted to cover before we? Yes. Also, if you are a member of the Creation Station, yesterday, Watercolor Sunday Fun Day Live did take place. We covered educational resources in that live. That was the lesson. We talked about the different type of educational resources that are geared towards watercolors and water soluble products. A few of them anyway, not all of them, but a few of the different types. We went through them, and then afterwards we used one of them to sort of do an illustration out of, and we tackled. It was just it wasn't nothing fancy or big. It's this little rose. We did June's birth flower, one of June's birth flowers, especially since I previously did the honeysuckle as a release on YouTube. I decided to do the other birth flower for June, which was a rose. So that's what we did last night over in Watercolor Sunday Fun Day. If you missed it and you're a member of the Creation Station, definitely go check it out. How it is available to you. For those people who are free members of Patreon, if you're interested in that class, do remember that once the edits are finished, it will be made available in the shop section for a one-time fee if you're not a member of Creation Station. All right, I think that's it. I think we can jump into what we are going to be talking about today. I'm going to check the comment section real quick to see if I missed anything, and then we'll jump right back in. Uh, London, hello, Carol. Wow, London. Hello, my friend. I've always wanted to visit London. That's so cool. Welcome from across the waters. All right. So today, friends, in this live, we are having a no rules, just paint day. This is going to be easy and fun. Now, there is not a traceable for what we're doing today. I typically put traceables up over in Patreon for Creation Station members. There's not one for today because I am using a copyrighted book in order to do my illustration out of today. And because I don't plan on selling it, I do believe that that's okay. But I don't think that it would be okay for me to actually share the image itself. So we're painting a bunny. I'm going to go ahead and put up the transferred graphite line drawing so you can see it real quick. That way, if you want to, you can go ahead and start sketching it out real quick as so you'll see what we're kind of doing. If you are a sketcher, if you're someone who needs to put your little sketch paper up to the screen and kind of trace the image really quickly, I'm going to give that a minute to be done while I talk about Let me zoom in so you can really see it, just in case you need to. There you go. And I'm working on 5x7, 140-pound cold pressed acid free watercolor paper. This is Soho Urban Artist watercolor by Jerry's Autorama, and it is a 25% cotton rag, rest of it cellulose paper. All right, so go ahead if you want to sketch that out real quick. Throw your paper up on the screen, trace it, do what you need to do. As I tell you guys that today we are going to be doing a giveaway. That's right, friends. So stay tuned, stick around, and we are going to definitely be doing a giveaway today. It'll only be one. You guys know I kind of do. Just depends on the day. I may do two or three. I may do a, but this one is sort of big, so we're only going to do one. So I hope that you guys have been listening because you know how I love to pull a question from the beginning of the video or from throughout the video. So definitely. So what are we giving away today? The first item or the first item in the giveaway is going to be Paint Crush by Christy Rice's brand new three brush rose gold travel Joy Traveler set. Now, if you have not had the opportunity to experience these already, some of you may have. I'm going to show you my set. So this is what they look like. It comes in this very cute sort of green chili felt case with Joy Traveler embroidered, kind of etched embossed on the front. It's got the gold snap to keep the felt case together. Now, there are only three brushes in the travel set versus the four you see here, of course. Hold on, let me wait. I'm sorry. Let me move that just in case somebody was sketching. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah. So, you'll get three brushes in that giveaway set. You'll get a fourth inch or a quarter inch, should I say, dagger with a rose gold ferrule, rose gold casing, and golden Teflon bristles. You'll get the number one cat's tongue travel brush. Again, rose gold accents, golden Teflon head. And you'll also get in that set the, what is this? Number one liner brush. So those are the three brushes that come in that set. Now I know you saw four in mine, and the reason mine has four is because I have her previously released travel brush, which is the number six round Joy Chaser brush. But again, this one is not included in the set. You have to buy this one separately. But those three will be included in the felt case as a part of the giveaway. Okay, that's the first item. Let me put these back in, recap these and put them back in real quick. I just kind of want to show you what's in that without having to open it. Oh, be careful recapping your brushes. You don't want to damage any of your bristles. All right. And the second item is just something I threw in just as a piece of artistic work. And that is a handmade sort of DIY card packet. It comes with the greeting card in the envelope already in it. It's one of my custom creations. And on the front, you'll get a card that has kind of been digitally reproduced. And this is a carnation that I did actually with ink tints watercolor pencils, ironically enough. So those are the two items that will come in the giveaway. So stay tuned, and we will definitely be letting that go before it's all said and done. All right. Hopefully, everybody had a chance to kind of sketch out the drawing or trace it or whatever you were doing, whatever you were going to do, because we don't all draw, and it's perfectly okay. Let me see. I'm trying to make sure that I'm zoomed out enough for you guys to be able to see. All right. I'm going to move some. I have a scratch piece of paper here that I'm be using to kind of test colors if I need to. Mainly because today I am using the paints inside my very own Defiant Art Bamboo Voyager palette. And it was so long ago. And I actually put the paints in here that I don't remember exactly what's what. I know the Daniel Smiths when I see them, but beyond that, there's several different brands in this palette. There's Daniel Smith. There's Mediane Pretty Excellent paints from the tube. There are some Magello Mission Gold Pure Pigment paints, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I need to go back and watch that video, but it's been so long ago. Maybe I can search it and find it because I want to remember what paints I put in here. But anyway, this is a palette that you can purchase on the Defiant Art website, which you will be able to find the link in the video description after the live has concluded. And it is a top side secure palette that is created and sold under my company's branding. Comes with the 24 empty half pans already included in a 100% wooden bamboo pallet in a magnetic seal to keep your top closing pallet very closed and secure. Actually, very secure. Oh, I better not knock that around too much, but I just want you to see that it holds really well. All right. And I know some of you already have this palette. Just in case you don't, definitely give it a consideration. All right, I'm going to spray these down just a little bit with my mister. And the only thing is, it doesn't come with its own mixing palette. You know, you do have to have a mixing palette with it. I'm not sure how big of a deal that is for some, how small of a deal that is for others. um, but it doesn't bother me one little bit. Where is now? What's going to bother me is the fact that I can't find my palette all of a sudden. I have two ceramic palettes. Um, that have all of a sudden seem to disappear. Interesting. All right, friends, let's chat among ourselves for a second. I guess I'll check the comment section as I look around the studio to spot how did two ceramic palettes just disappear, though? Am I crazy? Have I lost it? Maybe. Okay, let's see. Hello, Taylor. Welcome, friend. Hello, Laura. I'm so happy you are here. I'm so happy you made it. Welcome in. Say hello. Meet all the people in the chat. We have an absolutely awesome, with a capital A, group of people that tag along in the thrifty community. You will make some awesome and some really knowledgeable friends when it comes to art and things. So, yeah, say hello, make some friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, thank you, Ruby. You say you take yours everywhere. I like it. I love it too. Marion, your bunny looks scary. Wait a minute, Eleanor said so does mine. Ah, does my bunny look scary? Really? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to make him look scary. It's only because he doesn't have an eye in right now. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I'm gonna take a as I'm continuing to look around for this ceramic palette, which I'm probably just going to have to give up on it right now and just grab a plastic palette and stop trying to be bougie and use ceramic. Um, I'm going to actually take a white eraser. You can take a kneaded eraser, whatever, kind of lighten my lines a little bit. Now that you guys have had a chance to see that for a minute, because my bunny is going to be white. And although I am a fan of graphite lines, you guys know I do not mind leaving graphite lines in my work. I am going to lighten these just a bit from what they were. And I just use a soft synthetic squirrel brush to brush those eraser crumbs off so that I wouldn't get any oils or anything onto my watercolor paper. Um, oh, well, there's the bubble palette, but I don't think the paint. What paint did we use? Oh, we used the Bamboo Voyager palette for So that's what's in here. I just wanted to make sure of the paint residue that was in here before I grabbed this palette without cleaning it. So this is the same palette that I've been using to mix from this palette for the sketchbook creation that we've been doing over in the creation station. So I'm good. I'm good. I got two clean buckets of water here, one for rinsing, one for clean water, and I'm probably going to be using synthetic squirrel brushes, maybe one or two golden Teflons here or there if I needed the. Now, what I should have done, now I'm going to show you guys how we're going to kick this off. I am not a masking fluid person on a normal basis. If you are a drawing gum or a masking fluid person, then by all means, you can do this. This will be a technique you can utilize because we're actually going to do the background first. So what I would suggest is that you take your drawing gum or that you take your you know, what you're going to be doing, your masking fluid, whatever you want to call it, and you're basically going to mask out the entire inner line of your rabbit, of your bunny, just to protect the inner part. You guys know I'm a daredevil. I don't really like using this stuff. I think it can damage paper. I don't have a rubber cement rubber here at the moment. So, and I've used this before. This is good. I do remember when the video that I used it in, I was shocked at how well it worked. But yeah, because we spent so much time kind of talking earlier, and I didn't remember to put the drawing gum down. I'm just gonna do it without it. Just know that you can mask off the inner portion of your bunny just to help protect him. If you're gonna make him white, if you're planning on making him any other color, then do you, do you, do you, definitely do you. All right, so let's get started. I want to start with the background, and we're doing tones of a bright yellows, springy greens, and tall grass. Sounds pretty easy, right? Right. So what I want to do is I'm going to grab this is a number 10 synthetic squirrel, and I'm going into my clean water. And the first thing I want to do is start to wet my background. This is a watercolor block 5 by 7 that I'm painting on, just in case you're wondering why I did not tape or why I have not attempted to stretch the paper. I love painting on blocks. They're quick, they're easy. Don't have to tape anything down, don't have to stretch anything. Just start painting and go. So I'm being as careful as possible going around my outline of my bunny here. Now because I'm not using drawing gum or masking fluid, if that's what you want to call it, I might not get as close to the bunny as you will be able to if you decide to use masking fluid. But I will be using bleed proof before the end of this, so all of his white fur will be just fine. All right. I just want to get that nice and damp. You want an even sheen, no puddles. If your paper dries fast, it's okay. Do wet it once. Make sure it's even. Go back and wet it again. There are several different papers I use that you have to wet more than once. Not ideal, but don't fight your product. Figure out what its quirks are and work with it. All right. I'm going to start off going with this. I'm pretty sure this is known as bismuth yellow. And that's going to be my sunny color. So I'm just going to kind of dap that in a few places, kind of heavy. I'm not really worried about blending because greens are going on top of this. I just want to put some sun kissiness in there, some tones of sun kissiness in my background. And I'm not really caring where I'm putting it. It's not something that you have to be too concerned with. I am kind of dipping my brush into water though, and continuing to wet as I go. And yes, purposely we're just spotting it because we just want hints of the yellow to show through here or there. All right. Now I'm going to be mixing a sap green. Which one of these is sap green? Let's see. Is it this one? Nope. Phthalo. Not sure what that is. Sap. Okay. And we're gonna make us up a wash of sap green back here and some water to that. My mixing palette is pretty small, but I want it to be cute. I love this cute little bubble palette. uh, and you can continue to re-wet your paper. Don't be ashamed if it blends. You're just dotting it in. This is not anything to be too concerned with, especially if you have the masking fluid on, right? You have the masking fluid on, you can just be free and go to town. That's sort of the reason for the masking fluid, in all honesty, so that you can be free and go to town. If you're not using the masking fluid, that is okay too. Just be careful, as I'm doing, going around your outline, not to get any of your, try not to get any of your paint into your bunny. Marianne, I'm really excited about finishing your journal tonight, in all honesty. And we're making it, it's kind of textured. This is not something that we're going to be putting darker greens. The background is going to take a second. So, have fun with it. Have fun with it. Do not rush yourself through this. And remember, as I always tell you guys, please be kind to yourself. Do not compare where you are in your painting journey to anybody else or anything else that you've seen. We develop at our own pace. We learn at our own pace. So please be kind to yourself. I promise you are going to get there when it's meant for you to be there. And do not expect everything you do to be a masterpiece. Instead, set your expectations so that everything you do is fun and a learning experience. Absolutely. I mean, we all know that artists like, artists like Van Gogh only sold like one painting, if I'm not mistaken, like his entire career. He didn't really become the legend that he is until after death. Isn't it sad? That seems to be the case with most things, huh? And I'm just being careful, paint around my little bunny. All right, I want to do some darker greens in there too. So I'm gonna mix up more of this sap green here, and then I'm gonna reactivate this puddle of green, which I know is sap green and ultramarine blue mixed together. And so you can just go for that. Whoop. Just tighten in. Want to bring it a little bit more to being, realistic looking, like he's surrounded by some different bushes and things. Now, what would be really cute is if you do the background like this and then drop salt in it, or maybe you want to do the background like this and put down plastic wrap, especially since you already have like masking fluid on your bunny, so it would kind of protect the white part. You could you know drop you some saran wrap and get you a saran texture, or salt and get texture, or even use rubbing alcohol to drop in your background to get you sort of a bokeh texture. So many different ways to do things. All right. thinking to myself, do I like this? Do I like this? Is it good? Is it guess I need to do I'm sort of neglecting that area. All right, Nicole, see you later. I'll check it out as soon as I'm done. Have a great day. See you tonight, hopefully. Let's see. And ultramarine. Just different shades of green. Tap throughout your background. Yellows. All right, now what I want to do is start filling in grass around my buddy. So I'm going to switch over to, we're going to get us a second to kind of soak in and dry because my start to dry because my paper is pretty wet. And the technique I want to utilize at this point is actually wet on damp versus wet into wet. I want my paper to be more damp so that it'll still give me sort of diffuse, furry, blurry lines for background grass, not sharp or in focus. But the paper won't be so wet that when we put the paint down, it just kind of gushes and ushes like it's been doing with everything else. So I'm gonna grab, oh, what would be nice to make this grass with? It's just gonna be really diffused in the background. I guess I will grab I want something to just be quick and wispy but thick as well. I'm gonna use this. I have this brush that was sent to me. It's called a Petals brush. It's a Princeton Velvet Touch #8 golden tack line. I've only used it like once, maybe twice. So I don't know if you can see that, but the head of that brush is cut in almost like a cat tongue liner petal type shape, which makes it really easy to do foliage, petals, making flowers and leaves. Pretty cool brush. Pretty cool brush. Pretty cool brush. So I'm gonna wet that. Again, it's golden Teflon, so it's not gonna hold nearly as much water as like a synthetic squirrel or any of your um, synthetic animal hair brushes would. Or real animal hair brushes would, I'm sorry. And I guess what I want to do is start with maybe our grasses should be all tones. So let's, definitely go with the sap green we were using, but this is going to be more of a mass tone type thing. Uh, and my paper's still kind of damp, so we want to start from the bottom, dragging up. From the bottom, drag up. From the bottom, drag up. Now, if your bunny has masculine fluid around him, you can go to town on this part. If your bunny is like mine and does not have masculine fluid, take your time. Take your time. It's gonna get there. Don't rush it. Even if you don't finish it doing this live, that's okay. You'll know what direction you're going in. Don't rush it. I think part of our problems as artists again is that we spend so much time trying to compare our work to what we see everywhere else that we're not being kind enough to ourselves to see the progression that we are truly making on our own level, at our own pace, at our own time. You know what I mean? Know what I mean, Bernie? Ernest P. Worrell. I know I refer to Ernest P. Worrell a lot, and I still don't think most of y'all have any idea who I'm talking about. All right. now switch and start putting in darker tones. What we basically want to do, we want to nestle him in the grass. So I kind of got the grass coming higher to sort of trying to make it look like maybe it's lower. Like so, these grasses are going to run out off the top of the page over here, and it'll kind of do this. I just want him to look like he's nestled. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and grab some sap green and mix it in this bigger well over here. Add a little water to that. Now, this is definitely not the brush for mixing stuff, but daredevil I am. Grabbing ultramarine, and we're gonna start mixing ultramarine into that green to get our dark tone. And my paper is drying, of course, it's drying at this point, so I want to try to move quickly because I still want to keep these grasses kind of diffused and broken up as well because we're going to be putting sharper grass on top of it, but I just wanted some kind of diffused, broken up stuff in there. I like this brush. I like this brush a lot. It's really great for these wispy grass type things. Thank you, Amy. I'm pretty sure that's where this brush came from. I'm not sure if Amy's in the chat today. I haven't seen her. I don't think. All right. I think I'm gonna let that be good. We'll let that dry. We'll see how much it shifts. I may grab a hair dryer or heating tool at this point in order to do a little drying so we can start going into our bunny guy here. And I did get a little green right there on the top of his ear, so I definitely will be trying to lift it out. I do believe that sap green is medium pretty excellent sap green. So hopefully it'll lift out. Okay, those paints tend to lift pretty well. I kind of want a few little more of the yellow, the yellow spot showing through though. I feel like I lost too much of that, just like of the yellowness, the kind of sun kissy brightness. So let's just kind of dab that on the top of those, just to lighten it up a little bit. And then I'll tell you what, I'm gonna also switch over to a smaller synthetic round and grab some more of that yellow. Just gonna splatter some of it in. All right. Now, got a little bit on the bunny, so let me quickly rush to the rescue of that. All right. All right. So we're gonna need to let this dry for a second. That way we can start working on our bunny. So I'm gonna grab a hair dryer. I want you guys to hold your ears. I want to do this because we don't want to make the live too long. We're about over an hour in, just over an hour in, and actually we're doing good because we almost have the background completed. All right, I'm gonna dry this real quick, and then we'll move on. The only thing I don't like about this is that I tend to like to dry my paper from both the front and the back to make it dry quicker. And because this is a block, I can't really do that. I will kind of talk a little loud and look at the comment section and see what you guys have been chit chatting about as I get this time to dry. Hello, Kiana. How are you, friend? So good that you made it. I'm interested in seeing Nicole's painting when she sent it to me. Yes, Marianne, try new things. If you do not try new things, you will stay stagnant. You will not grow. You will find yourself doing the same things over and over and over. And you may also find yourself not really happy with your creation process after a while because it may seem a bit stale to you. So definitely try new things, try new techniques. Never be scared of failing. There's no such thing as failing. There's only learning. It's either going to become a very happy accident or it's going to become a learning process situation. Never a fail. Never look at any of your artistic endeavors as failing. Who is Ernest? Drying pretty well, pretty quick. I will say that the glue on this block is also pretty good. It holds really well. Even when the block is heated, it won't loosen the glue holding the block. It won't loosen the glue. And in case you don't know, I'm using the back of my hand to test the paper. I'm giving um, the heat from the dryer time to dissipate. I'm using the back of my hand to test the paper to see if it feels cool to the touch. It's a little dry. It may could do for just a little bit more dry. And I'll just show you. This is the paper I'm painting on. This is the Soho Urban Artist Watercolor Block, 25% cotton, 140-pound cold press, 5x7 acid-free paper. Now, this Soho Urban Artist is a house brand of Jerry's Autorama. I actually like the Soho brand. I've tried many of their products, especially their paper products. And for budget products, they are actually really decent workhorses that will get you some nice results. You heard me earlier talking about the watercolor canvas that I paint on. It's also Soho Urban Artist, but it's 100% cotton hot press canvas paper, basically stretched 100% cotton hot press watercolor paper that has been stretched around a canvas um, frame. Really, really, really good, really good. So that's you keep hearing me say Soho. That's who I'm talking about. All right, I think we are okay to move on. Now, everything else that we do to this is going to basically be doing detailing. The Our rabbit itself is going to be very easy to do. He's going to be white. So basically, all we're doing is adding in his shadow, right? So I'm going to grab paper towel here so I can definitely have lots and lots of water control. You want to keep a paper towel. I would suggest using, I mean, you can use your sables, your squirrels. You can use all of those camel brushes. But I would suggest using something that is synthetic, that holds a decent amount of water, but not a lot, so that you can control what's going on. All right, let's see here. I'm going to grab, I want to start working on his ear first, mainly because I have that little green there that I didn't intend to happen. So I'm gonna grab this white nylon brush. Bristles are pretty stiff on it. And I'm gonna go and see if I can lift out that green and look at there without a problem, right out. And I'm just gonna blot and lift. No rubbing, no scrubbing. You do not want to damage your paper. Blot and lift it. There we go. And see, I got that green out of his ear there on the top portion. As I give that little top portion time to dry, we're going to jump first into painting the inside of my little guy's ear here. So I'm grabbing, I said a synthetic, but you know what? I'm going to use a number 0 round. It is a synthetic squirrel. It's not a golden techlin, but because it's a zero head, it's so small, it's not going to hold a lot of water. And I'll still be able to, have the water control that I want. So the inside of his ear, I want to do a little pinkish from the reference photo that I'm looking at. It's a little pinkish, peachy looking. So I'm going with, I want to say this is let's see, what is this? This is some type of a crimson. And that is probably scarlet. Ooh, so pretty. Okay, Ken, no, you're not playing with paint. You're not playing with paint. You're painting. Okay, so I want to take, I'm going to take this crimson. I think this is a alizarin. And I'm watering it down quite a bit. Pick up just a little on my brush. And right under where my buddy ears start. Ooh, that is way too dark. So I'm going to rinse my brush using just the water to spread the rest of it out. This is light. Red does stain. Please keep that in mind. Most red paints stain. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and paint the inner portion of his ear with water. Yeah, I get tongue tied sometimes. It just happens. All right, I tickle myself. I really do. If you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at, right? All right, now I'm gonna go in and slowly brush in sort of a pink hue. If you feel like you got too much, use your brush. Use your paper towel. Lift it back. You want to keep it light, and it'll cup the top part of his ear, and then it'll run down just the side of it. And I'm brushing it out to it's nothing. I know it's light. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but it's super light. You're just putting in enough color because, as you know, nothing is really white. When you look at a white object, it's going to reflect colors that are around it, so to speak. And when you look at a rabbit's fur, the inner portion of their ears have these pink tints to them. You see all of these beautiful variations of grays in their coat. And yes, I'm keeping it light, I'm keeping it blended. And I think that looks pretty good. Um, Maybe just a little bit more down here. Kind of bring it down just a bit beyond, making it just a tad bit stronger than I had it, mainly because I want you guys to see it. And it doesn't hurt to intensify and pump up colors here and there. All right, I'm satisfied with this. All right, so the next thing I want to do is add a little bit of that same, just a tad bit of that pinky tone on the back of this ear over here. So I'm actually going to pre-wet that. And we're actually only going to be adding 3 colors to him. And this is all of the pink. Next, we're going to move into the places we need to paint our peachy tone. Uh, Absolutely. And I'm gonna go ahead and wet his little nose area. But that's gonna be pinky, right? And let's see. We have these little bit of pink right around his mouth on the cheeks. So let's get all of that face in. Ooh, and it out right away. You just want a little bit at the top of that ear anyway, nothing more than that. All right. And then we want to put a little of that same pink for his nose. Little cute bunny nose here. All right. And we also want to use that same pink to kind of rosy his cheeks just a bit. I really didn't pick up paint. I just added water to the brush. And then I'm just going to blend that out. Actually, I think that might be too much. We'll see once it dries. It won't kill him. All right. Let's see here. And see, just like that, he is actually starting to merge out of that background already. All right. Where are we going from here? From here, what we want to do is add a little bit of that pink in around his eye. And I'm just kind of wetting just a little bit, just so it'll diffuse. I'm using my paper towel to control what I'm doing. I don't want anything too bright at all. Just getting it put in those areas around the eye and just places where you would see the little pinky for the bunny bunny. Trying to see, am I missing anything? It looks like I am. Based on a reference photo, it looks like this pink sort of fades all the way down the back part of this ear. I didn't see that at first. I'm glad I took a closer look. Yeah, that fades all the way down the back part of that ear. Nice, nice. All right, now let's start adding in our gray tones. Ooh, or well, actually, no. Hold on. I think we need to do peach first. Let me think this through. Let me think this through. I think we need to do our peachy tones. So we're gonna mix a yellow ochre with the crimson, and then we are gonna go into some other areas around the neck. You need to be a little peachy. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grab. I'm looking for a place to mix here. Here, let's clean a little well here. All right, let's clean that little well back there. And we will use a little bit of our Lincoln Crimson, right? Just a little bit. And then we'll actually mix it with yellow ochre. Not too much. We just want to make a peach. It's still a little too pink, so I'm going to add a little bit more yellow ochre to it. I think that should be good. Let me test it out and see. Yeah, that's peachy. Yeah, that's peachy. We can do that. Um, and then I'm going to grab my paper towel again for water control. And then I'm grabbing that same brush, water on it. I'm going to just kind of scrub a little water down here around his neck area. Ooh, stomach growling. Wow. Wasn't expecting that. Okay. Grabbing some of that peach and dabbing it in along the hairline, kind of making hairline strokes, pulling it down into his chest area a little bit and blending. It may be hard for you guys to see the color because I'm not like intensifying the colors. I guess I should be considering this a live. I want this to show up. So I added a little bit more pink peach under his neck, and now I'm just taking water and blending it out. Blending it out to nothing. All right, let's see. Where else do I need? You know what? I think he looks a little weird because it seems like I forgot his eye on the other side, friends. That's he's kind of weird looking. He's throwing me off. Let's see. This should actually be a eye. All right, there. He looks less scary. See, now he looks less scary. There you go, Eleanor. I think he looks less scary. Absolutely, I think he looks less scary now. He's got another eye. That was the problem, Eleanor. He was missing an eye, girl. All right, and then I also want to put just a little bit of this across the top of his head. And yes, I'm painting with a very small brush. You can be using something a lot larger if you would like to, and sort of around the eye area. We're gonna kind of give that pink a little help. Grabbing that peach, dapping it, and then blending it into the wetness. We're just going across the top of his forehead here, kind of letting it come forward. Okay. And we're going around the side of the face, blending up into the pink of the ear, pulling in towards the center, blotting our brush, and then blending. You should start to see his face taking some roundness at this point. All of our colors again, really light, really light. We're adding in those little faint colors you'd be able to see under his white fur. You may be asking yourself, okay, so when is he going to start looking furry? Well, it's coming. That's where the darks are going to come in there, I promise. Right now, I just want to get all of his smaller undertones in. He's such a cutie, or she's such a cutie, whatever. Um, I'm gonna do the inside of that ear. I don't really see that in my reference photo, but I just want to blend some of that peach up into the pink on the other side as well. It just seems to make sense to me. All right. Anywhere else I feel like I need to touch before we start adding in basically the darks, because that's what's left. All right, let's go for it. I have a black mixed here already, but based on the colors I can see in it, it looks like it's some red in that for some reason. And it would have to be one of these anyway. But let's just be on the safe side. I'm pretty sure I know that dark. That dark is ultramarine and burnt sienna, which did come out of this palette. If you wanted to, you can mix your dark from the Gambos or well, we use uh, bismuth yellow. So from the yellow, you use from the red, you use in the bunny, right? And because we've mixed ultramarine into other colors, you could use those colors in order to um, make your darks. I like a really sort of Payne's gray type dark. I don't want to use Payne's gray. I do want to use colors that I've already used in the painting. So I'm just going to use a mixture of ultramarine blue and burnt sienna, knowing that at some point, if I need to bring in that Tony brown red, I can by streaking some grass in the background, to sort of break up the green, giving you sort of maybe a few of the leaves, a few of the grasses have died or going past maturity. So if we need to tie it in a little bit more that way in the end, we will. But for right now, let's just jump in and start putting in our shadows. So I'm grabbing a very little, uh, eh, all right, I'm gonna clean it up. I'm gonna clean it up and I'm gonna mix it again just to be sure. Grab a bigger brush for mixing because that small one that I'm using is definitely not meant for mixing. And we'll start off with a little water, and because we're going to be using washes, we're not trying to put down anything super saturated. I'm going for ultramarine first without throwing the pen all over the place. That actually looks a little bit more like phthalo blue. That's ultramarine. Okay. Ultramarine and Payne's gray. Mm. I guess I could have just used Payne's. You know what? Should I just use Payne's gray? Or should I mix like I'm doing? That's a burnt umber. Wait, there's Van Dyke brown. There's burnt umber. Okay, so this must be burnt sienna. It is. All right. So I'm mixing that burnt sienna into the ultramarine blue, and as you can see right away, we are getting a really nice shadow color. It's going to be more on the warm side because I'm using burnt sienna, which is a warmer red brown than like burnt sienna. Burnt sienna, I'm sorry, which is a warmer red brown versus burnt umber, which is a cooler red brown. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm gonna mix a little bit more ultramarine to that because it's going a little too brown for me. It's almost got a green undertone to it. That'll work though. That's pretty. All right, now paper towel. Grabbing just a little bit of that paint on the tip of my brush. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm switching that one. Should I keep this one? Trying to see is there a size in between. There is. I'm gonna grab this number. I know I sound indecisive right now. I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess I'll go with this number. I was hoping I had a number 4, but I grabbed this number 3. We're gonna wet it, get it dipped into our black there, blot it just a little bit, and now we want to start brushing the inside of homie's ear, meeting the pink. I'm gonna wet the inside of that ear again because we want those colors to blend seamlessly. Too much, drying my brush, spreading it out. You can even block if you feel like you've gone too far. Okay. And then as that dries, we'll put a few sort of um, more sort of streaks in like this. And it's going to start kind of helping you get the emulation of hair. But we'll work on that momentarily. Bleed proof is a wonderful thing to help correct any of that if you need to, I promise. Bleed proof is a wonderful thing. Let's go with the back of the ear here. Wetting the back of the ear. We're going to start at the top of his head and work our way down. We are literally almost done. Just stick with me, friends. We are almost there. I'm going to wet the back of that ear. We're going to grab some gray, just a bit. Tap it out on our paper towel so it's not too rough. And then we're going to blend that in towards the bottom of the ear, where this one would be casting shadow overlapping this one, and blend that right up into your pink. And then towards the inner part of the ear until nothing. Love that. Love that. Love that. Add a little more here. I don't feel like we have enough contrast there. Use your own judgment. You definitely can make your bunny much more saturated. Like I said, you didn't even have to make your bunny white if you didn't want to. You literally could have made him whatever color you wanted to. If you wanted a green rabbit, hey, go for a green rabbit. Definitely. Do you boo? Do you boo? All right, now what I want to do is start taking this and kind of just, and I don't really want it to be, I'm making hair marks, but I don't want them to be as that. Work that out. That's a great thing about ultramarine and burnt sienna. That's what and burnt sienna or burnt umber. That's why I like using them because they're sedimentary colors. You can lift them out if you make a mistake. You can lift them out pretty easily if you make a mistake. I'll come back to add that kind of hairy detail to the back of that ear in just a moment. Let's go ahead and move down this side. So what I want to do is now what we're going to be doing is taking a look, mixing it up to make sure those colors, because those colors will separate. And this is actually bleed proof over here, so I'm going to start mixing over in this well because bleed proof will be coming into effect really soon. And what I want to do is kind of start going down the side of my friend's face, kind of give, we're adding in sort of hairy texture, so to speak, or laying down the base color for the hairy texture. That way, once we go back in with the bleed proof on top, it'll have that shadow already up under it to kind of stand out against. Absolutely. So blocking them off. Letting them start to emerge more and more from the background. Absolutely. We're making little cross hatches across his back. I'm kind of pulling them up into, and here I'm going to start getting his neck, coming down the other side of his body. All these lines are really light. They're going to shift quite a bit, but that's what we want. Grabbing more of my black, coming back over into my bleed proof well. It's just helping me keep it light. That's all. And I'm going to start with his uh, this area. So I want to get his mouth area blended. It just seems a little too much for me. So I'm going to get my brush and see if I can't blend all of that in. Like it's so much. Feel like I put down way too much. So just bear with me as I blend this in and get this fixed. All right. I got that little shadow there for shaping the front part of his face. I'm gonna go ahead and start working on his eye at this point. And then we have lots of other areas that we need to be adding shadow to. So I'm gonna put water here because we're definitely gonna be adding shadow under the neck. So I'm gonna go ahead and start blending it in since it's there anyway. So you kind of start that shadow under his neck and then it'll come off his back. And I am actually technically building the color versus throwing it all in there at one time. Using the fact that I know I can lift that color out to lighten it up and then just kind of blend the rest of it into nothingness. Hopefully this hadn't been too boring. Hopefully this has been a pretty decent lesson in painting something white for you. All right, let's go ahead and see that kind of shadows his neck. I want to pull that shadow up right behind that neckline just a little bit, like so. Let's grab his eye and get that done real quick. I'm switching over to a very small golden Teclon brush. Let me see. I have a 000 round here. I'm gonna grab that. I have a number 2 round somewhere that I cannot put my hands on. Let's see. I want a very small detailing brush. I know I have a 2. Just can't put my hands on it right now. I'm gonna have to get some better brush organization going on. That's what's gonna have to happen. All right, I'm gonna use this one. I'm going into the black. This is a 000 round golden Teclon. And first things first, we're gonna go over the eye here. Yes, we're giving him, and then we are going to. I wanted something so much smaller than this. Okay, let me pull some of that out. And I am putting in the contour of the black around the eye. I'm going to take that black and without even worrying about fill in the other eye. Where we can't see it, it's like foreshortened. So just go ahead and fill it in with black and leave it be. No biggie. No biggie on that one. Fill it in with your black color, leave it be. All right. For this one, there's going to be, and I'm going to go back and intensify the pink just a little bit. But basically what we want to do is pull the color out around. See if you can blend it out. like so. And then you're going to take your black and you're going to make a tiny circle inside, well, not a tiny circle, but you're going to make we're basically going for his pupil. So we are keeping a small sliver of black, of white, I mean, between the line we just did and putting in his pupil. This way, he won't look so scary to everybody as he seems to be doing. And then I'll mix that up to make sure it's the darkest I can get it right now. Because like I said, that ultramarine and that burnt sienna will separate. And I'm going to go ahead and paint in his pupil. And for now, walk away and let that be. Grabbing the same gray and the same brush, let's start putting in the darks for my homie's nose. Okay. And we're going to shape that. It'll be a little bridge here. And it'll also indent just ever so slightly on this side. And he'll also kind of bridge across the top of his nose just ever so slightly now. I'm looking back and forth between this and my reference photo, trying my best to follow it as closely as possible. And then this would come down like so. And when we got to the bottom, this would happen. Kind of cup under, right? Right. And then from there, I'm going to use a little bit more kind of watered down black. And we're going to blend more under. I'm really trying to figure out how it's got that there. Okay, like that. And then there is actual, let's see. So it's almost like a mouth. Um, it's almost like a mouth. And then it's got a bunch of kind of hairy at the bottom there. That'll kind of curve around his face. Um, I'm going in through here and here. Um, I'm just looking at all the spaces that I can see little tiny kind of like gray hairs sticking, kind of emulating across the all across the place. I'm gonna have them all down here. And you want to keep them, I made those way too big. Let me blend those out. Again, another reason I like this mixture is because you can lift it out. And then I'll go back in, try that again. Let's see. All that is really, really light. I need to just wait on that because those hairs in there are super, super light. These on in here, not so much. I'm trying to achieve that curve that I'm seeing in his mouth line that I don't want to come off like a smile because it's not a smile, it's a shadow. It just kind of rounds off his face. That's what it does. I'm just kind of trying to round off the face. A little more dark down there. Um, these are a little too dark. Lift those out some. Shouldn't be able to see those as much as you do. And I don't know. I think I need to dry him. Um, and then that cut up too much. I'm starting to see the mistakes now. I'm seeing mistakes that I don't care for much at all. Like the shape that happened there. I don't like the way that cut up. Um, versus rounding. All right. Um, let's see. Let's add just a little bit more separation in here. I'm just darkening up darks now. That's all I'm doing. I'm darkening up different areas to make it stand out more. Add another layer of my black to certain things. That got a little thick, that line. I didn't mean for that line to get that thick, but that's cool. It works. Um, I think he's pretty cool. I'm gonna go through and brush almost an entire layer of gray on top of him. It's gonna be super thin and super watery, so that I can go in with bleed proof and actually make a difference here. All right. At this point, you really could be done with your bunny if you want to. I mean, he's yours, so definitely don't feel obligated to do as much. You can do as much or as little as you want. And now all I'm doing is going in and putting in small gray strokes. And I'm going to start building those up on top of each other. They're super watery, so they're definitely going to shift when they dry. Where else do I want this? It's still more going up the side of his face here that I don't seem to have quite captured. And Got that in the middle of his ear. This little, see, like that part. Oh, I see. I see. Okay, let me see. How can I correct that right quick? I wasn't paying too much attention to that when I did it, and I should have been paying more attention. But I think that's gonna do. That's gonna be okay. It's not nearly as soft and furry as I was hoping he was gonna look. Uh, I was hoping for soft and furry. I really was. But I am, like I said, I'm just like making marks on his face at this point, and then blotting them down. He's gonna need whiskers, so what I'm gonna do is go ahead and start planning for those as well. And I'm gonna pull those whiskers with my black. Let's see, where do they come from? Here? Looks like grass coming out of his face. I'm gonna be putting bleed proof on top of just I'm just putting down a base form, so not a big deal. That's hilarious. And then we come up, let's see, this side, his whiskers. Guess they would be kind of long like that, and I would be putting bleed proof on them. Let's see. I don't know. I think I'm good. I want to put the hair is coming out here. And put some bleed proof on those. And let's see. I think that's about it. We're gonna wrap this up. We've been dilly dallying at this long enough, and I think that everybody probably has a completed painting at this point. I'm just being crazy. Just enough to go ahead and pull the rest of my bunny from my background, making sure that he seems hairy. I think, and at this point, I think we're good. I'm gonna add in bleed proof, and we are gonna call it a day. Switching over to the number 6 round I was using way back in the beginning, grabbing a little bit of that black that we've been using. I'm gonna water it down so much. Lots of water, super light, and just kind of dab it in because we definitely want our bleed proof to show up. All I'm doing is toning the white. I'm not really painting. I'm gonna go back with my brush, my paper towel, and literally dab to lift it out. Gonna dry this real good, real quick with the hair dryer. Then we are going to bleed proof. In the meantime, I'll check the comment section because I know it's been a minute. Please don't hesitate. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop them. If you have any questions about what's been going on in today's painting, go ahead and drop that. I'll be happy to answer. If you're watching on replay, you can leave your questions in the comment section, and I'll be sure to respond to them as soon as I possibly can. In the meantime, I'm going to hit this with the hair dryer, and then we are going to be adding our final steps, which will be the bleed proof. All right, my friends, that should be enough. I am going for my number one liner brush. Look at that. Number one liner brush, just like the one in the giveaway we're going to be doing. All right. And let's get this, a little water in there. Get us a little wash made. Liner brushes are not the best thing for mixing, my friends. That's what I have in my hand. So, all right, let's see how this is going to work out. I know I want to put white on. Don't think it's thick enough. Or maybe I didn't put down enough of a base tone. I'm putting a strip on top of the whiskers. The reason I left the whiskers, it's hard to see. I need to, that brush is a little flappy. I'm going back to the 000 round I was using. Because I need stronger strokes of bleed proof on the, keeping the base of it dark where it attaches into the little cheek there. Trying to make his whiskers white. Put down a dark layer to lay on top of it. I was hoping that the shadow up under it would be enough to really make it stand out, but I mean, in a close up, it probably will. Not necessarily doing it right now. I don't know why I can't get this to spread the way I want it to. Hmm. Okay, you can see that it's white. I was worried for a second. So this side is going to stand out fine because of the green that is laying against. This is the part I was really, really worried about standing up. But nonetheless, there you have it. Let's move on and add it into the rest of it. That way we can get on to our giveaway. And I'm just gonna pull a quick little. Oh, it's so hard to get this stuff to act right today. Quick little hair wispies up off his ear here. And around. So basically, you're going around him and you're pulling these little white hairs, tiny fine white hairs around his body, pulling in towards his body, cutting into the background, cutting into any grays you may have had. The whole point is to make him look like he's got white fur. I almost said hair, white fur. So you're kind of painting on top of all of those shadow marks you've made, and it should make it look like homie. It's just a fluffy little bunny, just hairy, furry as he wants to be. hmm It came together okay. Is he perfect? No, but he came together okay. Do I need to put a highlight in his eye? I do. It needs to be here, just like so. All right, friends. I feel that's in a good place. I feel that's in a good place where you got a really good glimpse into how to paint Mr. Bunny Honey here. I want to grab just that liner. I'm throwing in a little dark in the background, just streaking it in with the liner. You don't have to if you don't want to. I want to. Just throwing some shadow into things as far as the grass is in the background is concerned. Not too much, not just here or there. Pulling it up with the liner brush, letting the liner brush kind of streak and run out of paint. Absolutely. All right, friends, we are about to jump into the giveaway. So get yourselves ready, get your fingers ready. Absolutely, get your fingers ready. So keep in mind the giveaway for today is a three rose gold brush travel brush kit, The Joy Traveler by Christy Rice, Paint Crush, paintcrush.com. You can also find them on um, what do you call it? Amazon. Also find it on Amazon. So no biggie there. But I think I am going to go ahead and put some of those burnt sienna streaks I was talking about. I could throw some of them in the back, and it might look like maybe a grass here or there, add a little deadness to it or whatever. Streaking it in too. Why not? Um, Maybe it's just highlighted on certain grass blades. Certain grass blades have it. Certain grass blades don't. I love it. I love painting. I love watercoloring. I love the fact that so many people can do the same thing and it'll come out so different. All right. So anywho, here we go. I'm done. I'm done playing with it. I'm not adding nothing else to it. So checking real quick before we jump in. Mix. Hey fam, you just had your Voyager palette out this morning. Yes, I love it. Don't we love them? We love them. They're so cool. I have a couple other ones that I'm gonna. I have another one that I pulled out of inventory. I'm going to be filling with some other paints. I'm thinking I may be canning some of the paints that we're going to be reviewing soon in one of those just for just take a showcase in the palette. But like I said, to all my people who may be interested in getting your very own bamboo Voyager palette, keep in mind it's 100% bamboo with the magnetic top closure, 24 empty half pans included. You have to put your own paint in. It is top slide and seal. And if you remember, I showed you earlier, we shook it and it's completely secure. You don't have to worry about anything falling out, and you can source those on the Defiant Art website, which you will find a link for in the video description. I will put it in there, time this video in, or you can look in any other videos on the channel in the video description and find the link. Or you can find it in my Palm Street shop if you are over on Palm Street, which finally, friends, if everything works out right, I will finally have that Palm Street Live sale next Sunday, because next Sunday is not a watercolor Sunday, fun day Sunday. So next Sunday. Stay tuned for the advertisements coming up throughout the week for that, including how you can download the Palm Street app if you're not on Palm Street, which is perfectly fine. No charge to you to download it, no charge to you to sign up. You're only charged if you decide to purchase something. And it is a creators app that has a lot of um, artistic creation in it. Chrissy Rice is over there. Bendy Desai is over there. And I'm sure there are some other watercolors that have finally made their way onto that platform as well. And it's just a really easy way to bridge the gap between influencers, artist influencers, and products that they may have for sale. But that particular live is going to include a lot of curated palettes. Basically, what I did was I pulled all of the watercolor that I currently have that I could spare anyway, and made up a lot of different curated palettes um, out of professional brands like Holbein, Turner, uh, Magello, Camel, a lot of. I can't think of everybody off the top of my head at the moment. Lucas, Aquarel 1862. Is a bunch of different professional brands that I made curated palettes of that I'm going to be letting go to you guys for a fraction of what you would pay on anybody else's site, including Amazon, just because I have all of these overstock supplies that I would never use in my lifetime. Like, I'm just being very honest with myself. So here we are with our giveaway, being the Joy Traveler 3 brush set and the hand painted, digitally reproduced. It was originally hand painted, but it's digitally reproduced at this point. Card that you can gift to someone or keep for yourself or frame or whatever have you. All right, so we have got all of our fingers ready. We got new people in the group that are falling in. That's okay, Charlotte. Hello. You said you're so late. It's okay. The replay will be available. The replay will be available time we end. All you gotta do is restart it. Now, the edited version of it won't be available until tomorrow, maybe the day after, when I cut out all the chit chat and the talking and it's just concentrating on what we did. But hey, that's okay. It's still gonna be up in either form. Thank you. Looking good. Thank you for saying it looks good. I really appreciate that. You're excited about the overstock Ruby. Yeah, I know Mary Ann is too. There's quite a few people that's kind of been asking me. I know Tisa has asked me once or twice, like, when are you going to do that Palm Street Live? Get to it. So I'm finally getting to it this upcoming Sunday. It's just been so much. Side note, I got a promotion at work. If you guys are wondering why you have been hearing me say I'm so busy, okay. The reason I have been so busy is because outside of running YouTube and Patreon and the website and the art business and trying to get new products developed, working through the tariff situation, all that type stuff to try to release a new product. On top of all of that, my regular 9 to 5 or my regular 40-hour a week job, I was actually promoted. I was blessed with being given my own store, um, which actually my very first day in my own store will be tomorrow. So I've been busy. I have been. I am putting my hair out by the roots. I've been so busy. So yeah. So that's what's been going on in the background. So if you guys wonder why you hear me talking like, oh my God, I'm always so busy, stressed out for time, running like a chicken with my head cut off, because beyond running my own sort of kick off the ground, kick starting art business that I'm trying to do, to promote it at work. Now, ultimately, running my art business is the only thing I want to do. That money from the outside source is definitely going to help supplement a lot of things over the next couple of years, especially with me wanting to release products and the prices of products fluctuating constantly. Hmm. over the last couple of months, especially when you're talking about imports. But we won't touch on that anymore. Anyway, so let's do this. Get your fingers ready. Here is the question that I hadn't thought of yet, but I'm thinking of as I'm looking around. Okay, yep. Here is the question. Told you guys the results of. I'm trying to think of something I've said in the last like 10, 15 minutes so I can make sure that everybody that has been around can participate. Because if you just popped in, you definitely are not going to remember anything that happened at the beginning of the live. So, okay, here we go. Art trivia question. Let's do it like that. That way everybody can participate. And you might know this, or you might remember it from us talking about it. Name the famous artist that only sold. I'm gonna give you three keys about it. One, most of the paintings he did only in the last 10 years of his lifespan. Two, in that 10-year span, he only sold one painting. Three, all of his work is niche based, and it is believed that he may have had some type of disorder based on the way some of. Oh, never mind. Oh, whoa, wow. Folks was in it. Folks was on it. Laura, that's the first person I see that answered it. Laura Van Gogh, absolutely. Laura Van Gogh. Hello, Laura. Okay, Laura. He looks more fluffy with whiskers. Yes, he does. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Um, okay. Laura, I need you to send me a email. Okay. You're going to send me an email to the thrifty apprentice at gmail.com. The thrifty apprentice at gmail.com and let me know, hey, I'm Laura. I won today's live giveaway, and I'm going to need you to forward me your information so that I can get this shipped off to you. Now, Laura, I will let you know that giveaway shipments do not happen the week of the live. So, and I just told you guys I'm starting my new store tomorrow, so I'm gonna be running like a chicken with my head cut off. But within a week's time, the live giveaways process and ship. Sometimes it's a week and a half, but anybody who I've ever given away anything to will tell you they got it. And if they didn't get it, I went out of my way to make sure that it was resent. So definitely shoot me a message over on. Yes, Laura, you won. You did. You absolutely did. You've never won anything? Well, I am so happy that the very first thing you won was over here in the Thrifty Apprentice community. Absolutely. Love that. That makes my heart feel so good. Love that. Shoot me an email, the Thrifty Apprentice at gmail.com. You can find it in any of the video descriptions on the channel, and let me know you won and forward me your mailing address and all the goodies that I need to get it shipped off to you. And within the next week and a half, I should be responding to your email with tracking information, because whenever I ship you something, I'm always going to send you tracking information. Always, always, always. So congratulations, Laura, on the Joy Traveler 3-piece rose gold travel brush set and the greeting card, which again you can keep for yourself, frame, or give away to a loved one. And it's reproduced. So the loved one you give it to, you can just put a sticky note on the inside to say what you want to say, and let them know that they can turn around and re-gift the card itself. Because it can be re-gifted over and over and over and over and over again. Everybody, be sure to tell Laura congratulations. She was very quick on the draw. She had those quick fingers, and without hesitation, she got that answer in. So, congratulations. Hopefully, you guys have enjoyed our paint along today. Live was a little long. Live was a little long. But that's only because we did some chit chat and I really enjoyed it. I really did. Thank you so much for joining me. Please don't forget to give the video some love by giving the video a thumbs up. If you've been hanging out with us, um, definitely give the video a thumbs up. It's going to help push this, even though it'll be a replay at this point, it'll help push it out in front of other great and wonderful viewers just like yourself. Creation Station members, I will see you tonight at 8 p.m. to finish up our water soluble sketchbook. And for the rest of my wonderful YouTube viewers, keep in mind that we do have our pre recorded release coming out this Wednesday. So stay tuned, and I hope to see you guys there. In the meantime, I artsy love you. I more than enjoyed this. And remember, as I tell you at the end of every single live and every single video, just keep creating, my friends. Bye.